All right, everybody, this is Coffee Chug, and I just wanted to show you the project that I'm working on using this Scratch for Arduino. And basically what I wanted to do was take the idea of the concept of a sprite on the screen and bringing it to life. And so what I have here I'm using 3 LED lights as my sprites, so to speak. One of the things that I noticed in education, working with students with Scratch, after about a day or two, um, Scratch just doesn't hold their attention like we think it will. It will for some kids, but not for the mass majority. And so one of the things that I found has been huge is bringing it tangible. If you get things off the screen, things lighting up, making noise, moving, those sorts of things, you can really gravitate and make some benefit from them. So you've already got the Scratch for Arduino software downloaded. It operates just like Scratch. So if you're not sure how to use Scratch, I would suggest going back and learning some of that. And I will do a screencast of the actual coding here next, but I want you to see what's going to happen, and then we'll go into the details. And so I have my program here. I got my Arduino all hooked up, and it's reading the sensors. And then over here is my actual Arduino. So I've got my Uno here, and then I've got my breadboard. So there's no soldering at all required for this project, just some mini cables. And I do have some resistors in here so it doesn't blow out the LEDs, and 3 different color LED lights. And what it's going to do is the program is designed to go through and it's going to play a beat or a note from the computer as it's lighting up each light individually with a 1 second pause, and then it'll kind of make a crazy robot noise when it's done. And that's on an infinite loop. So let me show you what this looks like, and then we'll go in and take a look at how to wire it, set it up, as well as do the coding on the computer. And so, like I said, I'm going to turn these lights off here. This is for bringing Scratch to the real world, to the tangible. And these lights represent my sprites, so to speak. So we go ahead and here and play the program, and it's going to read here to the Arduino, and you should be able to see the lights go. So let's check it out. All right. So there it was. There's my program making the tangible tangible. So now take a look at how I wired all this and what I programmed on the screen next. So go ahead and let's take a deeper look. Hey everyone, this is Coffee Chug, and this is a first step in learning how to use Scratch for Arduino and learn how to get the hardware connected to your computer so you're actually able to do the programming. So in order to get a Scratch interface compatible to your Arduino to do some programming, we need to install a couple things here. If you haven't already done so, the first thing you're going to need to do is install the Arduino software. And so if you've already been using Arduino, you probably already have this done. So just be patient here. But if you're brand new to it and it's your first time using Arduino, simply go to their website, arduino.cc. There's a download tab, and the first thing that you're going to want to do is actually install the Arduino software. This is what allows code to be relayed from your programming and coding to the actual Arduino board. And so just find your platform that you're using, Windows, Mac, Linux, doesn't matter. Go ahead and download those, follow those steps. We're not going to do that now. I already have it installed. Very, very easy, doesn't take much time, and you will be up and running with your Arduino code, which I have here as a shortcut, which allows you to do your coding. So there's your first step. The second step is to then go to the Scratch for Arduino website, and this is a mod of the Scratch programming. It's s4a.cat. You can see it up there in the web address, and you're going to go to downloads here as well. Once again, pick your platform, your Windows, Mac, Linux, doesn't matter, or the Raspberry Pi if you're using that, and follow those instructions. Those are 2 very important things. When you have those both installed, check that they work. So here is my Arduino code that's up and running. Minimize this here. And then go ahead and test out your Scratch for Arduino. And you can see that this is up and running here. And you can see it looks just like Scratch for the most part. The only difference is going to be that you actually have your Arduino board over here and you can see your ports being worked on. So I already have mine plugged in, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a second if you've never plugged in an Arduino. So those are the first two pieces of software that you have to have. There is one more step, and that step is back on the Scratch for Arduino website. There is a firmware that you need to install. And so if you go right here, it says download our firmware. What I have found to work best is just to select all that. So a little Control A, a little Control C to copy. I'm going to go here, and you can open up a file and go to New. Alright, I'm going to clear all this out and just paste that in there. Now when you go to save this, you need to save this in your Arduino folder. So you go to File, Save As, and what you're going to have is in your Arduino, you will not have this S4A folder to begin with. You'll just say Libraries when you first start out. So if you right click, alright, and you can go through and add a new folder, which is what I did. I just labeled it S4A firmware 16, and then in there I installed this program file. So I would rename this S4A firmware.ino, and then you hit save. Okay, here it is for me. Boom, it's all right there. You don't need to understand it at this point, and you click upload. I've already uploaded this once. Alright everybody, so here we are in the Scratch for Arduino program. You can see the program here right in front of you. I'm not going to take you step by step because it's a pretty straightforward program, but I just want to explain just a few basic things. And so obviously when you get started, just like Scratch, it doesn't matter. You always have to start here with the green flag to get it going when clicked. These are your controls. So you can see in here I also have the options to repeat, which is actually what we're going to use next. So I'm going to bring this over. And you can also add other options like forever, which eventually we'll add down here. And we've got our wait blocks. And so there's different things that we can do. We can do more advanced stuff with our Arduino. We're not going to worry about that now, but this is how you control things, how you make things actually do stuff. And so you can see here with this program here, I just had to repeat to 3. So it's going to go through and each light's going to blink 3 times. You can make that whatever number you want. Now the rest is motion. So this is basically thinking of making your sprites move. In our case, it's the LED light, so nothing's going to actually be moving on the screen like you would with the cat or things like that in the regular Scratch. For me, it's the LED. And so we use these digital pins here. This is what you have wired on your Arduino Uno, which we'll take a look at here on the next slide. And you can see you can change it to your digital pin, 10, 11, 12, or 13. And so we'll start with 10, and you can see as we go over here, we've got 11 and 12. So we've got 3 lights. You can make it 4 lights if you wanted. That's completely up to you. And then we added a little sound just so you could hear the sound. So we just went down here to this play note. You can see you got a lot of different options. And you could drag this over. Oh, bring that down here. And you can make these notes whatever. So we just did 59, 64, and 68. Make them whatever you want. In our case, we just made it 59. Not that it matters a whole lot for the sake of the program. You can make a song sequence if you wanted. And then we'll make this 1 second like we did over there. Alright, and so as soon as the LED light turns on, the LED light's on. It's going to play the note. What do we need it to do? Okay, we don't want it to just keep going forever. We want it to turn off. So we got to tell that digital pin, the LED light, to turn off. So we'll make that 10, and we have it off. And then we want the next one to go on. So you can kind of see this progression here as we go through. Alright, now we want the next light, so that's going to be number 11, just like we have here. And we want it to play the next note. So I'll go to sound, play note. I'm going to make that 1 second. Remember, you can tweak this to make it what you want. And then we want to turn that off again. We don't want to keep that one going. We got to tell it to turn off, so it just goes 1 time. So we'll make that number 11, and it's off, and then we'll go into number 12. All right, so then we'll just go ahead and finish this one up here. We'll go to sound. Add one more note. Make that 68. All right, and then we got to go ahead and we got to turn that pin off. So we'll add this last little piece, and we'll turn that one off. So I guess that's at the 12. Now we have this forever loop. So at the end, if you remember, it made that crazy robot noise. So let me show you real quick where I got that noise, and then you can go ahead and make this for yourself. So we're going to add this forever loop. This will keep playing this forever until I click this program to stop. So you just click this flag again, or you can go up here to the stop option. Either way is fine. What I did was then, for this play sound, I went up here to sounds. I went to import. You got all these different options in here. How's in electronic? Let me go back up one. You can see you've got all these options. All right, so then I just clicked electronic, and then I clicked this computer beeps. You can make any noise that you want. It doesn't really matter, but you select those. So when you go back here to your program, when you go here to this sound option, all right, I'm choosing this play sound right here, and I can add that, and then my program would turn on here. All right, and this is what I picked. So you make that whatever you want. And then it's the same thing. We have these lights lighting up again. So it's going to play note, light up, play note. It's going to keep repeating through. You can see the rest of that just on and off. Just made the weight point to it a little bit faster. As you remember, it streaked through. So there's the basic program. So go ahead and see if you can get this working. And once you have that ready, then it's time for you to tweak it and make it your own. Remix it as MIT suggests to make it better. So for now, get that programmed. And then in the next slide here, I will show you how to hook up the wires on the Arduino, and you can test it, and then I look forward to seeing what you create on your own. So get this done, and I'll look for you on the next slide of how to wire the Arduino to be able to rock and roll and make these light up and make noise. All right, in this part here, I want to show you how to wire your Arduino. And so it's be a little tough to see. I'll do the best I can, and then I will do a screenshot after this video with the more complete diagram. What we have here is our Arduino board. This is our breadboard, so we don't have to solder. And then obviously our power, which can be connected to our computer here, which will plug it in a minute. So here's the first thing that we have. We have to be able to give it power. So power is going to come into the board, and we've got two wires here. All right, and I should note at any point in this time, just pause the video and get these cables done, and you should be good to go by the end. So I've got one here that's plugged into the 5 volt. And this is going to provide electricity or the voltage over here to the breadboard in order to get electricity to the lights. And what we're basically having is one big circuit when it's all said and done. So I've got this plugged in the 5 volt, and then I have it plugged in over here to the plus. If you've never used a breadboard before, there's a copper strip basically that runs all the way down. So all these from here to here in the vertical line is getting that positive voltage. I then have another one right next to it, and you can see it says GND, and that means ground. And that's going to go over here to the negative. So now we have a complete circuit going on here on our board. So I've got one from 5 volt to the positive, ground to the negative. But now we got to go through, and we actually have to get the electricity off these 2 rows over here to the LED lights. And so we've added some transistors here. All right, and these transistors just kind of control how much electricity can flow through so the LEDs don't burn out right away. There's not a huge amount of electricity in this case, so it's not like they're going to short out right away, but it's just a good habit to kind of get into. So what we have is I've got my resistor feeding in from my negative strands. And so I've got one here, just plug it in to A16. I got another one plugged into A21. and then one more plugged into A26. The numbers don't matter. The row, or this column, excuse me, does. So we have that, but the numbers, you can put them anywhere you want. I then have to get our positive charge going as well. So we have to get, so now we have electricity from our ground. It's going here. It's running down this metal strip underneath these pegboards. And now it's making these through this resistor. And the resistor is limiting electricity. It's not overshooting it. So it, boom, it's sending it over. Okay. And then the electricity flows all the way across. It flows horizontally here on these numbers. So these go this way. All right. So we got to get that connected. And that's where the LED lights come into play. Your long leg, if you've never used LED lights, is positive. Short leg is negative. And so I've got the short leg from this resistor. It's going to flow this way. The negative is going here. Okay. And then I got the positive over here. And that's where then I have my cables. And these plug in. These correspond to the numbers that we programmed in our program. So if you remember, we had digital 10, 11, 12. And so this wire here is plugged in to 10 on the Arduino. We have the same exact process. We've got my yellow LED light is plugged into the 11, and green is plugged into 12. So what happens in our complete circuit? Electricity is going to be powered, in my case, from my computer is going to power this. Positive and negative. It's going to run through here. All right. It's coming down. My ground. Positive is flowing through to this. In this case, let's follow the path of LED light number 10. It hits here on strip number 25. It shoots down. It's going to flow up the positive leg. It's coming down through, hitting this, running back, completing the circuit back to here. And that's all happening. All right, so we've just made one big circuit, essentially, is what we've done. All right, so I hope that made sense. I will put a diagram on the next slide so you can take a look at it and double check your work. And then you should be able to hit click and play on your Scratch program, and they should light up and make noise. So let's go ahead, double check your wires, double check your program, make it work, and see if you've had any success. Alright, so using Scratch for Arduino, got everything up and running. I think I've got my Arduino stuff set up here. So if I go ahead and hit click here, you should be able to see these lights. Let's take a chance and see what happens.